Waking up Jewish, waking up in the morning revolves around one sentence in the Torah, one obligation of the mitzvah to read Shema in the morning. And the question, in order to scratch off and see the deeper part, is obviously on the baseline level, what does that mean? We're into a sentence, we have a theme, like a college has something written in Latin underneath its symbol. Oh, this is our theme. Okay, and if let's say that is our theme, but why do I have to say it? Why do I have to say it morning and night? Why is this the sentence of theme, and why do I have to say that morning and night? And most importantly, which is the main point, that we spoke about, there's a mitzvah to learn Torah. The most important thing that a Jew does is education. For people of the book, ignorance is a form of treason. And the source of learning Torah and the source of saying Shema is the same source. And yet, Maimonides counts them as two separate mitzvahs. There's one mitzvah to wake up in the morning to say Shema. Before you go to sleep, say Shema. Another mitzvah is to learn Torah. And yet these two seemingly different realms emanate from one source. And tonight I'm going to show you how these two realms are really one. So first we'll start with the mitzvah of learning Torah. I'll frame that. Then I'll take what you've already learned about Shema. I'll blend the two together and I'll show you that they're one. So in the Shema, right after you say that key line with 6 words, it says, V'ahavta, you should love Hashem, love God with your whole heart. The Talmud asks a question that everybody should ask, is that how can you love an entity that you don't know? How do you love somebody that you don't know? To love someone means you have to get to know them. How can you love God, a concept we can't wrap our brains around, if you don't know who is God? What is God? What does that mean? So the Talmud answers that when it follows up, Vahayu hadvar me'ela, and these words that I'm commanding you, that's the realm. Because through learning Torah, you recognize Hashem. What that means is that Torah is not a set of laws of how to be a good person. It's not a book of philosophy, choose it or not. It's the blueprint of reality. Meaning, what is reality in my interpersonal relationships? What should I do in this scenario? In my personal, between me and me, what should I do? How should I relate to the world? What is? The realm of Torah is the body of knowledge through which we get clarity towards purpose. So when we talk about love, love between a person means I am positively at one with that person. Being in love doesn't mean I enjoy something a lot, I get a lot, and it makes me feel good. It means I'm in a unified relationship that is positive. If anything, that's a giving relationship, not a taking relationship. Love between two people means we're positively at one in a giving sense. So too, just like horizontal, so too in a vertical sense. I could be at one with the world. I could be at one with Hashem because I understand what life's about and I'm at one with it. So this realm of being at one with the world causes us to be well versed. I need to be well versed about reality. Why is there a world and what am I supposed to do? Our great-grandparents, when they spent money to send our grandparents to school, it was in order to inform them about what's reality, what is in the world. So we're obligated, vishinantam, we have to learn, which means learn to perfect, livanecha, to our children, but most importantly to our students, that you can't give over what you don't understand. So the mitzvah of learning to the point of perfection that I could say it over is a mitzvah of ownership of information that I could pass on. But this ownership of information is not just random of yes, so I want to give you the instructions of how to open up this safe somewhere and you'll find something. No, you need to be well versed about the instructions of life. And You have to be so well versed you could give it to your children and to your students. But why do I need to own this information and give it to my students? Can't I just drop it? No, you can't drop it because you cannot connect to reality without having that clarity. So the mitzvah of learning Torah, that's it. That's the primary mitzvah of Jewish people, is because without getting it clear yourself, you can't pass it on. And without getting it clear yourself, you can't be connected to life in a positive way. We talk about loving Hashem. I love God. Those words, they seem comical from a distance. Like, what do you, I don't even vaguely know what you're talking about. It's not like, oh, I get it, but not exactly. Like people are like, oh, I love rain, or I love the snow. It's like, okay, I can maybe hear it both ways. I'm not a big cold fan, but maybe weather affects you. Yeah, I love slushy, dark weather. It makes me feel really good. Okay, I disagree, but I could hear that maybe there's an argument. Someone say to you, hey, what's up? I love God. Okay. Where are we going to go from this point? I'm here, like, okay, you have a personal relationship? What does that mean? For us, for all intents and purpose, however that's exactly pronounced, it means that we are at one with the world. I'm at one with reality. God is the realm of reality. I'm at one with that. I'm well versed in what it is. I can pass it on, and I own it. So that's the concept of learning and being connected. Okay, that's the mitzvah of learning. Let's put that on the side. Now, there's another mitzvah called, I have to read the Shema, to actually say the words with intent when I go to sleep and when I wake up. Why do I have to read these words? What's in these words? Okay, we believe in it. I'll put it on my Facebook profile, but do I have to say them? I'll say them once. Let's say I miss in the morning. Can I just say it twice? If I miss a whole week, could I just do 14 on a Sunday and make them all up? Why do I have to say this? This is a magic charm thing of like abracadabra. Like, why do I have to wake up and say Shema? Do I have to sing like a cantor? Shema Yisrael. Or like a bar mitzvah boy, which would be a higher pitch. I won't imitate. Every time if you get an aliyah in synagogue, I just want to go up there and be like, exactly how I sounded at that time. So I have to say these words. I don't understand what that is. So here's the concept that, like we said, everything in this world, physical, is a three-dimensional world. And that means in this world, not the world of total unity, but in the world where there's time and space, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. Shema has three parts: a beginning, a middle, and an end. The first part is Shema, which means to hear, Yisrael, us as Jewish people. Hearing is the most important quality that you own. If I were to say the key to success in anything is, are you a good listener? Do you listen? We all know people. We've all been to meetings who are like, huh, what? When we do that, like, were you listening for like 60 seconds ago? Oh, I thought it was this. It's like, just put your phone down and listen. Cue in. But that's regular, normal human listening. I'm talking about, let me hear what you're saying. The word Shema doesn't mean I hear as opposed to not hearing. It means I humbly am united and I understand what you're saying. Shema is a preparatory realm. I have to be in the listening mode. There are times in which you want to point something out to someone and you know this is not a good learning moment for them. They're in a rush, they can't hear it. Hearing something means I am humbly accepting a reality into my realm that I didn't have before. So Shema means I connect humbly. Yisrael, who's that talking to? Israel, the state of Israel. What does that mean? Each one of us, we're part of the nation of Israel. So waking up in the morning is that a person is cognizant, I am part of a bigger realm, not just part of an apartment building, not just part of a Facebook group, I'm part of an eternal nation. So Shema, to me, I'm part of a nation. Now, what's the next part? As we mentioned, Hashem Elokeinu, God is our God. What does that mean? Our God, our God's number one. Have a big Foam number one finger, woo, yeah, our God could be your God. My honored child could be your honored child. Like, what does that mean? So we mentioned, why does it say Hashem, Elokeinu, Hashem Echad? You're not supposed to say God's name in vain. Just say, God is our God is one. Just don't mention God's name twice. Because there are two phases of reality. There's a current state of reality in which something happened on Mount Sinai X amount of thousands of years ago. We, the Jews, received the Torah. That happened, and there's a eternal nation that has survived everything, and we're still here in a thriving manner. Okay. And it's a dark world, and our goal is to bring light onto the nations, to make the world a better place. Not just because we could be on top and we are the champions and we'll be great. No, to make the whole world be united as one. That the whole world will live in a positive state of unity. So when I realize, I'm open to hear, Hashem Elokeinu, God is our God, meaning we, the Jewish people, 1/4% of world population, received a manual on Mount Sinai in front of 3 million people. And we own that same Torah that we had then, we have today, exactly as it was. But there's a goal, there's an objective. What's the objective? To do something, to bring that light inside of you, to make it one day Hashem Echad, that'll all be unified. Now, when a person says Shema in the morning, you have to have, here's a Hebrew word, kavana. Kavana means intent. There is one point when you wake up where the mitzvah is, you didn't fulfill it unless you did that, where you knew what you were saying, I know what I'm saying is a mitzvah, and I know the translation of Shema here, Yisrael, the Jewish people. Hashem, God, Elokeinu, our God. Hashem, God, Echad, will be one or is one. I have to, at that point, concentrate on the words and connect to that reality. When a person covers their eyes and you say those words, the actual mitzvah is, says the Maharal of Prague, is to be connected to that reality to the point where you experience it. He says, even though we are not at the point where we see everything as one, but there's one flash moment every morning and before you go to sleep in which you intentionally go through an experience in which you transcend for a second the limited world that you're in. You transcend for a second the limited world that you're in, and you experience Hashem Echad. You experience what it's going to be like in the future. That's the mitzvah. And when do we do that? In the morning and at night. Why these two things? It's one mitzvah that has two departments. Because there's duality in this world. There's darkness and there's light. There's body and there's soul. In both these realms of the dark times and the awake times, I'm connected to this reality. Even though there's two in this world, there's two-ness, there's duality, but I can break on through to the other side and see that ultimately it's all one. So, putting the two things together, that's how Talmud Torah, the mitzvah of learning, and the mitzvah of Shema are really one concept. Shema is a mitzvah that you do in the morning and night where you have a microcosmic experience of what it's going to be like in the future. The mitzvah to learn Torah is to make that happen in a real way. If I learn Torah and get it clear, I will bring this world to echad, to clarity. If I learn and spend my time being conscious and learning the words and knowing what is reality and being at one with God in that way, I will bring the world to echad. I'll bring the world to a point of clarity. So Shema is a mini microcosmic experience for 1 second in the morning and 1 second at night in which you remind yourself of the original goal. Everything is better when you have the objective clear. Our depression and our follies in relationships and our stupidities that we trip over ourselves on a daily basis often trace back to not having clarity of purpose. Built into the system of the universe is every morning and every night I'm going to have 1 second of clarity of purpose in which I'll experience that one day world where everything will be one. And throughout the day, I'm also obligated to work on myself, to learn as much as I can, so that I'll be a holder of clarity, I'll be a holder of sanity, and I will actually realistically move the world to a better place. As we mentioned, think globally, act locally. If you improve yourself, that improves ultimately the world. So on that note, you could see, as I'm sure you know, that in every Torah throughout the world, for every generation, thousands of years, the Torah is written where the Shema, the last letter of Shema is an ayin, it's big. The last letter of Echad is a Daled, it's written big. If you don't have a Torah written that way, the Torah is not kosher. And everyone that owns a Torah, Reform, Orthodox, Conservative, has that concept. Come on. Why? We like the ayin, we like the Daled, what does that mean? So we know that it means that ayin and daled together spells the word aid, which means a witness. The Torah believes when I give testimony in front of a court, I'm not just relaying what occurred, I'm actually the live video in front of the judge making it happen. We cover our eyes and we say Shema, that's a form of testimony, of witness, meaning I don't see Echad, but I'm going to experience that. And aid, ayin daled, spelled backwards, is daled ayin, which means dea, to know. How do we work on getting to this realm of clarity? We work on knowing. Jews are people of dea, of knowing. We're in the pursuit of knowledge. So out of one verse in the Torah emanates two mitzvahs. Maimonides has a book called the Book of Mitzvahs in which he counts each of the 613 mitzvahs. Mitzvah number 10 is the mitzvah to read Shema. Mitzvah 11 is to learn Torah. And they emanate from the same source because they are the exact same thing. Shema is a concentrated form of the result that you'll have when you are a learned person, when you get that clear. The end. Thank you guys. Any questions on that?
In the beginning, you talked about like oneness and clarity with God. How can you have that if it's like we can't fully understand it?
How do I know that the world will one day all become one? I don't know that. That's a faith issue. But on the other hand, I'm also learning Torah on a consistent basis, so I'm building up a knowledge of, I have a rational, intuitive feeling that one day will occur. But Shema is a pure faith statement. But the mitzvah of that faith is to verbalize it. You can't just get away with doing it in your head. You have to verbalize it, and you have to actually know what you're saying. It's very hard, 6 words. Know what you're saying at the time that you're saying it, and after 120 years of life, the last words that a person is supposed to say is Shema. Before Jews were killed in the Holocaust, the last words that they said was Shema. Why is this the language of faith? Because as a Jew, we can't fully grasp this world without acknowledging duality. That there's the current state and there's the future state. And in the current state, we don't see things clear. The future state we will, but we believe that the actions in the now actually create the future. So these words are a statement of faith that you can actually connect to. And I think there's a leap involved in that. That's why it is like the flag of our faith. But I think from the waking up Jewish and from the psychological sense, it means in order for us to function as normal human beings, we need to realize that we're empowered to impact the universe. And if I'm in Shema Yisrael and I realize that I have a means to get to my ends, and that end will one day come, that means I'll be able to function the rest of the day in that context. So when you wake up, where's the whole waking up from the Torah? Where do we see from the Torah this concept of waking up? It's from here, uvkumecha. And when you go to sleep, as you know, the Torah here didn't say at night and day. It says when you lie down and when you get up. What does that mean? Concept of lying down, as we said, sleep is a crazy anomaly in which all of a sudden you fall asleep. And what are you? You're dead. You're as if you're dead. You're lying down. You're not mobile. You're not functioning. Uvkumecha means when you stand up. The only quote-unquote mammal that stands completely erect is a human being. So that means when you're lying down, before that, I'm going to say Shema. When I get up, I'm going to say Shema. So it means no matter what the scenario, this is my faith. But that faith, I think, connects us to the big picture. If positive psychology constantly harps that there's no happiness without meaning, and meaning means being connected to something bigger than yourself, well, we've been saying that the whole time, that the whole 6 words, 25 letters of the Jewish people is that in the now, I could connect to a process that will bring me to a future that I know will occur via my faith. And that, I think, is part of the motivation of the Jewish people from a psychological, spiritual, and cultural sense.